Georgia is starting to see a slight reduction in its COVID positivity rate right now. A steady number of cases and an increase in testing are really helping bring down our positivity rate. Today, we added nearly 1,500 suspected and confirmed new cases. One of the things that's helping keep our cases steady is, of course, the vaccine. 35% of us right now have at least one dose of the COVID shot in their arms. More than 1/4 of Georgians are fully vaccinated. Frontline workers are also seeing a little relief after a spike of new patients last week. The number of people in the hospital with the virus is down again today, Cheryl.